Hello guys, welcome back to our channel Dr. Mom. This particular video is a part of our live series being conducted on our Instagram handle Dr. Maliha Saman. I am linking it in the description box below so that you can follow me there and can join on our live sessions which are being conducted every weekends. The topic for the live is just loosely basically around Montessori at home, particularly at Indian homes. How are we transitioning and making the atmosphere and environment child friendly? Also, in the description box mentioned below will be the timeline of the different questions surrounding the first topic that I have been discussed in this particular video. Do subscribe to our channel guys to stay updated for weekly notes and videos. So in today's video that I had planned to discuss this topic for a long time. I wanted to shed light upon Montessori at home. What exactly is Montessori at home and why should we follow, or why are we following Montessori techniques at home? So the phrase itself, Montessori at home, is a misnomer by itself. You see that Maria Montessori had designed the classrooms in accordance with the home. So the classrooms were designed to look like your home so that the child is able to move freely, not the other way around, wherein we are trying to bring the classroom to a home. So it is just to keep your home as original as possible and as smooth as possible for the child. And it gets very daunting to see a lot of information out there upon what is available for the Montessori and the Montessori shelf setting up and all the different activities that we are doing on a day-to-day basis. But all that apart, there are certain few set guidelines, or like you can say set principles that you need to follow to keep the home in a Montessori setup. So why exactly we are focusing on Montessori? The one reason I much like to focus upon is to bring upon independence for the child. When I became a parent is when I realized that I need not follow the same trend. Providing comfort, providing all kind of benefits to your child is what is the aim of every parent. But for the long run, for their life, that is going to become difficult for them when they are facing the world out there. It's not easy, and all they have to do is learn to be independent, to manage themselves, and to work out everything by themselves without any help. So this is the series we are kicking start today, all about Montessori at home, a misnomer. So when you start trying to reframe your home into a Montessori kind of setup, the first main thing that you want to focus upon is always independence. Is my child able to independently move around, is able to independently pick up things and perform actions on his own without any help from any of us, the elders? Basically teaching them to be self-sufficient, to be responsible in their own age ways, what they can do in their age. And the first thing before diving into anything is about what we are all guilty of always, all the time, is the abundance of toys that we give our kids. What exactly is decluttering and why we should declutter? So we are often tempted to buy more toys, and all the toys that we find fancy, we find the child is interested in, we find is being very highly marketed in the advertisements or anywhere where you go, or which is recommended by people who use. And when you see a kid going to a play center or going to play dates, parties, and you observe the child is asking for that particular toy time and again, they're interested, we end up buying more and more toy. There is a sale, we buy toy. You go to a shop, you buy toy, either because of the temper tantrums or you feel that okay, it might come in handy. So ultimately we just build up on stocking so much of the toys that most of the toys end up not being used and not being played upon effectively. So one thing that you can start right now is, first step before setting up your Montessori home, is to declutter everything that is surrounding your home. Declutter room by room, declutter spaces by spaces, declutter shelf by shelf, your wardrobe, basically everything around, because you find a neat clean home which is compact, which is having less items to see around and to confuse your mind. It's going to keep you fresh and focused, not just you as an individual but also the child. So what you have to do, as I'm telling, is to declutter. Ideally, I have picked up this plan to declutter twice a year, every 6 months. So I said the last decluttering was in Feb, and now in July, and this full month of February, I'm solely concentrating on decluttering room by room. How much time do I spend on decluttering an organization with two kids and independent working all around the time? I do not find much time, so I dedicate just 1 to 1.5 hours per day so that I can sort out things. I made a list of things that have to be cleaned up and organized in my home, like the wardrobes, the pantry, the laundry, the kitchen, the toy storage, the excess toys that we are having, the books, the uh, anything basically around that is you can find in your homes. So you make a list of all of this and you see how much time you can spend, and that's how I do each day, or I take 2-3 days for one particular space and I'm trying to cover it up. So inshallah, by the end of this Feb, we will be more of decluttered free. And the main thing that you got me thinking into this minimalistic lifestyle, somebody had asked, are you planning to move on to minimalistic lifestyle? When I had asked this question some time back, I was like an answering yes, why not? Because you see, for the past 1 year when we were in complete lockdown, how many of us went shopping? How many of us went and bought anything for the matter? Bedspreads, clothing, anything for the matter. We survived an almost entire year with no shopping whatsoever. We have just survived, and that is a very valid proof that you need not go on shopping every other day and keep stuffing your homes and overflooding all the wardrobes and all the racks and basically anything. So this short note that I found handy is like, when you want to buy something, okay, particularly for your kid or even for yourself, you make a list. You just stick out in the fridge door or anywhere that you find access to, you make a list of items that you want to buy, and you just see, even after 30 days, even after a 1 month, go to that list and see whether you really want to buy that item A, item B, item C. If you feel that it is no longer needed, you can just scratch off your list. So basically, it is an item that you wanted at that time, but you definitely did not need it. So that's how it goes. Make a list, and if you cannot stick to the 30-day rule, try using it at least for a 1 week period, like whether genuinely after a week, when you reassess the list, whether you truly need the item that you have to make a purchase. So this is what you have to keep in mind, which will control your shopping mindset of buying anything, be it a toy or anything for the matter. So coming to decluttering, what exactly have we decluttered and why should we declutter? So the one main very important thing of decluttering is minimalizing. You just see the playroom, you just see the toy room, you find less items to play, so the child is not confused, what should I pick, should I take this, should I take that, and they are not always in wavering mind, what should I take up and play. They find limited set of toys, like one toy per shelf or one toy per rack, and they just take it out and they're trying to play with it with more attention, because they don't have much things to get distracted. They're just trying to focus upon that particular toy and they're playing with that toy, and because they don't have much to think upon about other things, they are trying to creatively enhance the effectiveness of that toy. For example, if you're going to give them a ball, they can play with various ways with that ball. They can just make it like a routine throw ball, catch ball, or my son that I have observed, they used to take baskets and put the balls on top of it and tell it is an ice cream cone, and they were like the ice cream vendors. So it all comes down to how creatively they are able to imagine the toys that they're able to play with. So when you cut down on the toys, when you downscale the toys, you are definitely going to see an increased level of creativity in your kids, and that leads to focusing in that particular toy, trying to innovate, trying to bring about innovation method of playing for that toys. And when you're having siblings around, a very great advantage is because it is teaching the child to learn to wait for their turn, not just trying to jump upon the other child and take it up from them. Just teaches them patience to wait. And that's what I said. Now when you have a lot of toys, there is a lot of fights, because all the toy he wants to take, the younger wants to take. When you have few toys, they learn that okay, we cannot just fight for every other toy, because there's only limited toy there. So this is one thing. And another thing that I found useful was when I cut down on the toys, was about how effective it is, because even from childhood, we are teaching them upon the concept of cause and effect. So what I do, because I have seen the boys banging around their cars so often that they end up breaking most of their tires and the small parts, and it becomes very much a nuisance after that, because you just try to walk upon it, it becomes a hazard for so many other things. And what I have learned from them is their same thing, what I do with them is I just take out the toy when they break it off. I used to tell ki chalo, this toy is broken, it has served its purpose, you no longer cannot play with this toy, it is end of it, and just throw it up, or just hide it up from them, so that they kind of think that it is gone for the good. So over a period of time, when I kept doing it repeatedly, what I saw is that they understood that if they bang upon toys, if they end up breaking the toys, mama is taking it away. So they have learned to maintain the toy. Not that they do not break it quite often now, but it has reduced so much. You can tell momentously it has reduced so much that they do not literally bang every other time. It has like scaled down so much. So that is one major change that I've seen in them, that has found effective. And so building upon this thought of maintenance, in the long run, to take care of your toys, take care of your belongings, you don't end up hurting them. That's how we build upon conversations. So that's how we do. And another thing that we're all guilty of is the cleanup session. Like, it gets so mounting and daunting, like chalo, so much is there to clean, what to do. So this is what I say for all the people who keep DMing me. Right from when Ahian was around 1.5 years old, I have followed this schedule. Like, I just gave one toy at a time, and I used to take it off and give the second toy. And sometimes there will be some lot of toys cluttered around the hall, in the playroom. And what we used to do every night before going to bed, we have to sort this out. I have discussed this question so many times on my DMs, on my stories, and number of times I have told this key, we do not go to bed unless the hall is clean and the playroom is clean. You can never find any toys scattered around the hall. This is a rule we have been following. Initially, obviously, they did not cooperate. I had to model it for a period of some time, and then they have learned. And now there are days, even when we come back tired after some shopping, tired after some party, and if they find the hall is not clean enough, they're like, we have to clean it. And I'll be like, no, not tonight, we'll do it tomorrow. We are already tired. So it has gone to that level. So we have our own set of days where it is like on both the ends. So that's how it goes. So this is all the effects of decluttering, of scaling down your toys, that I wanted to talk upon. And the next thing is, when you start to declutter, what should you declutter, and how to make that process easy, because we are all guilty when we see all the toys key, we have spent so much of it, or we have some kind of emotional attachment key. I got this for the child on her first birthday, or this was gifted by some very special relative, or like I had gone to vacation to this particular place and it is a souvenir from that place. But the child ends up breaking most of the toys, like over a period of time, because I can either demand it to the harsh play or the toy material that has been in the market, they end up being broken. So when you start decluttering, what is the first thing that you should do is pile up all the toys that you have, either on your bed or on your floor, wherever you have the toy. Just bring it all out in the open, in front of your eyes. Just take it from the shelf, under the carpets, under the sofas, and do it in a stretch. You don't start with this decluttering process and just leave it halfway, go back to some other job and come back, because this is not going to work. It can work for any other decluttering, like your wardrobe decluttering, your kitchen decluttering, all those organization. You can just come back after after half an hour, or even after 2-3 hours, and you can come back and you can continue from where you stopped. But when it comes to toys, you just leave it halfway and you go for some other work. Your child is going to come in between, take the toys, start playing again, go mess it somewhere, and whatever you have organized again goes for a mess. So you just focus and think, chalo, this whole process is going to take me 2 to 3 hours. I am going to solely dedicate 2 to 3 hours for this job without moving out. So that's how we do. You just pile up all the toys, make separate the corners of the bed key. This corner you keep toys like cards, that corner sets, and that corner balls. So basically you sort the toys into different corners, and you have in mind the toys that your child plays, because if you have been observing your child right from when he's playing, you know the toys that they are specially attached to. There will be hundreds of toys in the playroom, but your child is always play with 3-4 items daily. Whether you give it to him or you don't give it to him, he will keep on asking you for that particular toy. So as a parent, this toy is needed, so you know that this has to stay, it cannot be taken off from the toy area. So just sort it accordingly, make a list of items what you want to stay. Like for example, you need building blocks to stay, because it's going to give a lot of thing. I generally try to take out toys that we just take from, there is a shop here like a 5 real shop, where you basically get every item for 5-6 reals, basically amounting to 100 rupees. So whenever we go to the shop, we end up buying so much of the toys from there, and within days all those toys just go for a toss. And when you go for birthday parties, the return gifts, those toys also have not a very good quality. So most of the time the toys get accumulating, and they wear off very fast. So I just piled up all of those kind of cheap plastic toys which are not going to have a space in my home, and just try just burdening mother earth with a lot of things, unnecessary things. You can hear in the background they are screaming because they are missing me, and they're banging the door. They were banging the door some time back, and I think now they went and they are screaming aloud. So ignore all that. That is part of this. And yeah, so what we did was we yeah, where was I just looked so monotonous, talking. And yeah, what was I telling? Yeah, taking down all plastic toys and trying to, it doesn't mean that you have to take down all the plastic toys that you have, but whatever you feel is like not of a quality that will sustain for a longer time, or has already worn off, good for the better, just take it out. So you just take out all the broken toys, missing pieces of a puzzle. Like you have a toy which is made up of lot of set, and half of it has gone missing, so there's no point in keeping that, because you cannot play with it, and it's just going to build up all the unnecessary space in your home, so it has to go. And then things which are out of age. So for a 3-year-old child, there is no point in having rattles around, because that age is already gone. And anything that is like used for a walker kind of thing, no, to push and walk, that also has gone. So when you just stock upon all the age appropriate, inappropriate things, you just pile up more and more things in your home. So all of those things have to go. Another thing is that the big and the bulkier items that we, with a lot of fondness, we go end up buying very costly ones. And you see, most of the kids now, they do not enjoy big and hefty toys. I have scaled it down to the point that, because kids, they often see things at their range, what is to their level. So when you get them big huge doll houses, big stuff, no, they don't sit and play with it. I have observed, I can be wrong, your child can be different, and whatever I am talking in this video is not at all a very generalized statement, because each child is different. So you just take excerpts from this video, what suits you, what suits your home, what suits your kid, and follow accordingly. You do not have to follow everything around. These are just some tidbits that I found useful, and I wanted to share with you to ease your process, and to complete this whole entire course of how should we set up an Indian Montessori home. So the first topic of today was decluttering, and I have spoken like everything about decluttering. What are the uses of decluttering? What do you ultimately find useful at the end of all the decluttering? And how to declutter, like pile it up, sort it up, and just let go of things. And at the end of it, you just organize the things. Just organize it like you keep a box for Legos, you keep a box for balls, you keep a box for doll sets or Barbie dolls if your kid is playing into it, a box of arts and crafts supplies. So it's all like an proper organization. You don't have to go to big shops and buy a lot of organization, storage cabinets and things like that. As simple as an Amazon cardboard box will do. With your minimalistic approach, with whatever you have, how effectively you're able to use it is what is all about. Giving the proper home for the child, the proper environment for the child to move around, to play independently, to grow independently, to develop independently. So this is our whole concept of thing. So once all this is done, once you start organization, then you go for rotation. When again after decluttering, you still have huge monogamous huge mountains of toys, you can't have it all. You have to keep in rotation. And when do you rotate, and how do you rotate? So when it comes to rotation, what I have found is we can first start rotating when the child is small, according to age appropriate. Like for 0 to 6 months, what kind of age what kind of toy the child will be able to play in that age. You can just keep those toys. And when it comes to 6 to 12 months, you can just keep what toys the child is going to play. If you go to my grid, you can see post on Montessori toys or some simple easy DIY toy list that the child can play 0 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12. I have not yet completed that list. It's just up to 1 year, but you can find it in the grid as well as in the guide. I will actually post in the story tonight, so that you can just go through those lists and just set up the home with minimal toys. Minimal toys, again and again I'm telling, is going to be effectively played upon, not thousands of toys. So, and then is when you put all other toys that you're not using back into the hiding like into the rotation. And when you're sorting out all things, you either just trash the toys. When it is like not salvageable, you trash it up, and if it is kind of okay kind of thing, you keep it, you just pass it down, or you lend it to somebody so that some other kids, you just rehome it so that some other kid is able to play and use. And if you feel that you're going to plan a sibling for your child, you can just store it for the child sibling later in life. So this is about it. So like I said, plastic toys, damaged worn out books, broken craft items which cannot be used, old DIY projects which you think is no longer going to serve the purpose of DIY, and random pieces of puzzles like so used pens, notepads scribbled upon, and things like that. So this is all that I had told about things that you can discard. Don't hold on to things, don't hold on to stuff thinking that you have spent so much money, because every other day that you're going to see that toy, you're going to see your child is not playing, you're going to feel ki Allah, I bought it for so much, they did not play. So once you give it off to them, you will feel at least relieved ki you do not have to see that daily they are not playing, it is gone for the good, that's it, some other child is playing and is happy. End of story. So this was it about decluttering. So let me know what doubts you're having, because I tried to cover up all the doubts in this video itself. Whatever you had asked, I had tried to be as crisp as possible. There was a question, one question she had said ki what do I do when a lot of family members gift us toys. So this is a very big and sensitive topic. What do we do? First, if the relationship you have with the person who's gifting you toys is kind of a relationship that they are going to understand. For example, in my case, I know my parents, if I tell them no, I do not want a toy, they will not buy a toy, they will listen to me, they respect my choices. And I believe we need to have such healthy relationships around people who can respect our choices. I am very clear, no toys for my kids, because they have a lot of it, I do not want them to just dump on more. So the first thing is talk it out to the person who's going to gift, who or repeatedly gifts. Most importantly, grandparents, in the case ki chalo, we do not want all this in the child's life, this is just cluttering his brain so much, he's not able to concentrate. Just speak out in a polite manner, you just do like this, and you provide them alternatives. See, you're getting me this set, I feel my child is not interested in this set because I have observed him not playing with these kind of toys. Instead, I will give you my wish list. You can have a wish list on Amazon or Flipkart or wherever you have your wish list. You can just pass on that photo to the person and say, if you are so much interested in buying a gift for my kid, just buy this for us. So that is going to ease a lot of your tension, because even they are going to be satisfied that they got some gift, and even you are going to be satisfied that the gift was useful to you. So there is nothing shameful of asking for gift, because most of the times when there is a birthday, when there are anniversaries, or whenever you throw parties at homes, relatives will like obviously want to give you sweets, or they want to bring in toys for the kids. So you can be very specific. And somebody had asked me, what are the list of toys that you will keep even after you declutter? So that is a very subjective question. What will I keep? I will keep what my child likes, what is my child's favorite, or what I think is appropriate for their age. So this is a very subjective question, and it is going to vary between everybody. So I cannot effectively answer it unless and until you know your child, what he likes, what are his interests, what are his skills, you will try to stay. And there are a lot of DMs asking me for the list of books for like a particular age group. It becomes very difficult for me to put it down age wise, now the whole set of books that I'm having the list, but I'm working upon that, and it will be up on the blog so that you can have a read through there, and it will be easy. And I will try my best to link upon all those books also, so that you can purchase it from Amazon.